Story. The BJP has released the first list of 184 candidates for the Lok Sabha polls. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, as expected, will contest from Varanasi. The BJP President Amit Shah is contesting from Gandhinagar. Rajnath Singh has been fielded from Lucknow and Nitin Gadkari from Nagpur. Union Ministers VK Singh from Ghaziabad, Mahesh Sharma from Noida and Smriti Irani from Amethi. Union Ministers Kiren Rijiju from Arunachal East and Jitendra Singh from Udhampur. The West Bengal BJP chief Dilip Ghosh will be contesting from Medinipur and the Union Minister Babul Supriyo from Asansol. So the BJP has finalized the names of all 17 party candidates from Bihar as well, and the names will be announced in the state jointly with allies.
भारत के प्रधानमंत्री यशस्वी प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी आप वाराणसी से चुनाव लड़ेंगे और हमारे भारतीय जनता पार्टी के राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष श्री अमित भाई शाह आप गांधीनगर से चुनाव लड़ेंगे। इसी के साथ साथ लखनऊ से आदरणीय राजनाथ सिंह जी जो हमारे पूर्व अध्यक्ष हैं वो चुनाव लड़ेंगे और नागपुर से पूर्व अध्यक्ष श्री नितिन भाई गडकरी जी, नितिन जयराम गडकरी जी, वह चुनाव लड़ेंगे।
Well, my colleague Shubhendu now joins us with some context on this story. Well, Shubhendu, this announcement was long awaited. What are the key takeaways, you would say?
Right, Mark. There have been multiple election committee meetings of the BJP, and this list was expected today. So, as you mentioned, 184 candidates' names have been announced. They're spread across 20 states. The most important one, of course, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to contest from Varanasi. 2014, remember, he had contested from 2 seats and he won from both the seats, Vadodara in Gujarat and Varanasi in Uttar Pradesh. Right. But this year, the focus is going to be in Varanasi. We also know that during his tenure, there has been a particular focus on Varanasi as far as development projects are concerned, whether we talk about the beautification of the ghats, core ground level infrastructural development. Last year, we also saw the multimodal water terminus for the waterways, and Varanasi was an important spot. So a lot of focus is going to be on Varanasi now that Prime Minister has zeroed on contesting from Varanasi as far as Lok Sabha elections is concerned. Meanwhile, BJP chief Amit Shah is going to debut in Lok Sabha elections. We know he represents Gujarat in the Rajya Sabha at the moment, so he's going to be contesting the elections from the prestigious seat of Gandhinagar. The other big names, Rajnath Singh from Lucknow, Nitin Gadkari from Nagpur, are more or less on the expected lines. One of the big contests, the road for which became clear today, Mark, was of course Smriti Irani versus Rahul Gandhi of Congress at Amethi. Her name was cleared for Amethi. Remember 2014, there was a lot of focus on the contest between the two leaders. Smriti Irani could not win that election against Rahul Gandhi in 2014, but there was a difference to his victory margin. And with a lot of efforts that have been going on from both the sides, it will be interesting to see how the people of Amethi vote this year. So those are some of the key takeaways, Mark.
Right. Also, Shubhendu, well, the BJP is contesting this election as the ruling party, but also in the ruling coalition. And it's tied up, you know, it seems that their coalition is very strong, especially with a number of parties, you know, willing to continue to ally with the BJP.
That's right.
So, you know, was there some sort of a message, a positive message that one can get from today's press conference for the NDA allies?
Yeah, there was a message. There was a very clear message for that as well. And as you mentioned that although Mahagathbandhan made a lot of news in the media space in the run-up to the Lok Sabha elections, but it was BJP and the NDA that had been moving ahead swiftly as far as alliances are concerned. And J.D. Nadda, in the conclusion of the press conference, did mention that the list for BJP candidates for Bihar, where the NDA, as NDA partners, we also have JDU and LJP along with BJP. So he did mention that the final list of Bihar is going to be announced soon in consultation with the alliance partner. So we see a certain interesting bonhomie and alliance ethics being played out at a time when a lot of ambitions of the Mahagathbandhan have not been realized. So yeah, there is a message that BJP stands alongside its alliances, and even as far as the names of candidates announcement is concerned, it is going to go together with the alliance partners.
Right. Also, Shubhendu, we are waiting for a guest in the studio, so until such time we will continue to talk to you and put you into context, help us put the story into context. We understand that, you know, the BJP has been mulling over these names. They've taken 3 whole days. It was a pretty long meeting on the first day. I remember it went deep into the night till 2 a.m. So, you know, I mean, this is a list that has come out with plenty of thought. You know, when JP Nadda was speaking to the press, you know, did that come out that, you know, there was plenty of thought that went into every single name?
Oh yes, and I think it also reflects on the internal democracy that BJP often prides over, and it was also shared earlier that a certain time that is being taken is because of the multi-level consultations from the workers to the party heads to the representative at the state level. There's a lot of consultation that had been going on in order to finalize the list of the candidates, and that was one of the reasons given for the time that it took to come out with the first list. And also there is expectation that in the times ahead there'll be names of some new candidates as well. So there was more a sort of confidence building, more clarity, more focus on the new candidates that are coming up to clear their names. BJP was going to take it slow, but make sure that it takes a confident step forward. So apart from the big names that were announced, Prime Minister and other people, there were also a lot of new names that have come out, and the party wanted to make sure that they have the confidence of every level of worker when they come out with the list. Mark.
Right. Also, there are union ministers. You know, most of the sitting MPs who are ministers, of course, are continuing to contest. They will be contesting the same seats that they won the previous time around. That is a significant, I mean, well, that is an acknowledgement also of the work that they've done, isn't it?
That's right, and Prime Minister has been time and again saying, and also the BJP chief has been saying that BJP and the NDA must go to the people asking for votes for the performance that they've done. Across sector, each of the ministers have time and again tried to give a clear, almost a kind of report card for the work that they've done. And specifically, there's been a lot of focus on how the BJP and NDA have spoken in terms of data, whether we talk about Ujjwala scheme, whether we talk about Swachh Bharat Abhiyan and the number of toilets that have been built. There's been a lot of empirical data to support the kind of work that the BJP and the NDA have done. So taking that confidence forward, it will also have to be represented through the confidence that the party has on the sitting MP who also happened to be minister. So it is also a confidence stride forward. Like the team that had won the last time and the team that had performed is also the team that is going to get chance in the elections ahead.
Right. And now that the list is out, obviously, you know, the contest gets far more interesting, especially with both, well, being seen as, you know, a contest where it's the Prime Minister versus the rest. That was the way it was being billed. But, you know, the opposition didn't seem to get its alliances together. But now that the BJP has really announced the first list, this is when perhaps the opposition too will have to start thinking, because, you know, then, I mean, even though lists have been announced, nobody has really filed their nominations as yet. So there's no real candidates officially in the election till date.
Right, and this is also the criticism that the opposition has had to face and is likely to continue facing, Mark, because there haven't been very clear issue-based coming together of the opposition parties. There was a lot of display of strength a couple of months before the elections were announced about the Mahagathbandhan, all top leaders, 14 to 20, 21 leaders coming together on the same platform. But as far as electorally coming together was concerned, that kind of unity was not displayed. And now that BJP has come out with a list, the pressure is going to increase on the opposition, although they have more or less finalized the parties that they're going to fight with. Uttar Pradesh, for instance, there was an expectation that Congress, BSP and SP are going to stand on the same platform together. But despite all the conversations, it didn't work out. And BSP chief, remember, came out saying that, in fact, they're not going to have an alliance with the Congress in any of the seats, and they're going to fight the elections against both BJP and the Congress. So there is a certain amount of confusion, there is a certain amount of lack of unity that was clearly displayed as far as Mahagathbandhan was concerned. And here we have BJP confidently coming out with a list of over 180 candidates, and also speaking about alliances in Bihar, which is a crucial state. Remember, Mahagathbandhan hasn't yet finalized its agreement in Bihar either, the manner in which RJD, Congress are going to share seats. So amidst the confusion and the lack of unity that is making news in Mahagathbandhan, BJP is coming out with a clear list. And also, remember, in Northeast, it has again brought together the allies, Gana Parishad in Assam. And in such manner, the challenge really is in the court of the Mahagathbandhan at the moment, Mark.
Also, Shubhendu, we see that, a lot, this election especially, I mean, even in the last, all elections recently have used social media to a large extent to try and reach a new wave, a new kind of voter. That's happening too again in this election, and a lot of the campaign, takes its steam from posts that are made on social media. How do you observe this trend, and and the way it's going, and the fake news element in it as well, and the controls that the Election Commission has sought to put on that, and the entire scenario?
I think, Mark, it's going to be a very crucial landscape on which the elections are going to be campaigned for and also fought. What is positive and what has been an important decision by the Election Commission is to bring in model code of conduct in the realm of the social media as well. Whether we talk about local elections or even if we refer to elections across the world, presidential election in the US, we've seen that there's been a lot of controversy about the ways in which elections have been influenced through social media. But this time, with the implementation of model code of conduct on social media, it will be very hard for agencies to spread fake news or spread rumors. Political parties will have to be careful about the kind of message, the kind of campaigning, the kind of speeches they put up on social media, because all of this will be under the lens of the Election Commission. At the same time, Election Commission is also using the true strength of social media to reach out to voters, especially young voters, first-time voters. They're on Facebook, they're on different social media groups. Now, Election Commission is making use of this connection that is already there with the youngsters who are eligible to vote to bring them forward and encourage them to exercise their franchise.
Thanks very much for all those inputs, Shubhendu, and thanks for putting the entire thing into context for us. And to continue this discussion, we also have with us in the studio Vinay Kumar, senior journalist. So the BJP coming out with its list, a long-awaited list, the first list of 184 candidates. No real surprises there. People who have done well are rewarded. They continue to. And of course, an incumbent government must keep its ministers. They have to continue to fight from the same seats. So things like that. I mean, the Prime Minister from Varanasi. We have various ministers also mentioned. V.K. Singh from Ghaziabad, Mahesh Sharma from Noida. Well, Smriti Irani is contesting again from Amethi. So what are your first views on the subject?
As you rightly said, Mark, there are no big surprises except that Mr. Amit Shah
is contesting from
Gandhinagar. That effectively puts a halt to Mr. Advani's juggernaut. He has been winning that seat for the past 6 Lok Sabha elections. What an irony it is that Mr. Amit Shah used to manage the campaign of Mr. Advani. I mean, Mr. Modi and Mr. Amit Shah, both of them, they used to, work shoulder to shoulder with Mr. Advani, and both have been mentored by Mr. Advani.
So wouldn't you say that there is a policy of late to, when leaders reach an advanced stage?
This discussion in BJP has been doing the rounds
for some time.
If you remember, last time BJP took a policy decision that those crossing 75 years of age should not be
ministers.
Should not be ministers, and now the generation next, the younger generation should come up. So this, I think, repeating some ministers and mixing young with experience and old hands is seems to be the strategy of BJP. So in the first list we were expecting more than 200 names, but party has announced 184. Mr. Kiran Rijiju is being repeated. Rajnath Singh will recontest from Lucknow, as you said, Dr. Mahesh Sharma, and Smriti Irani, Nitin Gadkari from Nagpur. So this, I think, is a
Babul Supriyo from
Asansol. That name was already doing the rounds, and since he is the sitting representative from in Lok Sabha from Asansol, so no big surprises there. And the challenge is to take on Trinamool Congress of Mamata Banerjee. So that is a big challenge for BJP.
So now that, well, I mean, obviously these candidates have won, and they won handsomely in 2014 as well. But 2019 is seeing, well, at least it was being portrayed as, you know, a united opposition. And in that context, do you see, you know, the contest becoming much tighter and tougher, even with the government, you know, having performed and taking its performance to the people?
Yeah, the Mahagathbandhan, as you point out, markets still work in progress. And,
that's true, yes.
And we have seen, you know, there as far as organization is concerned, as far as alliance partners are concerned, pre-poll alliance partners are concerned, BJP has stolen a march. I think BJP is one step ahead of Mahagathbandhan. And Congress has not been able to seal the deal with Aam Aadmi Party in Delhi, with RJD on number of seats in Bihar. And similarly with BSP and SP, there has been, you know, ties have rather soared, you know. And accommodation is not being seen so far. So the first step is to get off with your pre-poll alliances and you know, concentrate on your candidates.
So no, I mean, see, the fact is that, well, people have announced names, they have announced lists, but I'm not sure whether anyone has actually filed their nominations as yet for the election. So we actually don't have any official candidates as yet, isn't it? I mean, there are things that can happen even till now.
No doubt about it.
And I'm talking on both sides. Well, of course, with the BJP, once its list has come out, we are seeing the NDA poll or the NDA coalition standing together. We're seeing that the BJP, the largest party in the NDA, is willing to give various kind of allowances to its coalition partners. But we are not seeing that happen in the Mahagathbandhan or any other form of alliance, because they're all fighting for the same space. So, you know, I mean, it doesn't seem to be working because there's no cohesion. There's nothing that they can do together.
And you know, in Mahagathbandhan, the problem is of accommodation, and politics is, you know, a lot of give and take. So if you are ready to concede your ground a little bit, and you can accommodate your alliance partner, you know, giving a couple of seats more, or giving them the choice of seats that, you know, not from this place, from this place. We have seen that happening in Bihar with you know, Congress. And the case in point is, I think, Darbhanga seat, from where Kirti Azad is very keen to contest, recontest from Darbhanga, and RJD is wants its own candidate there. So, you know, these kind of things have to be ironed out. And this give and take in politics is what makes it an, you know, a field which is imbued with a lot of possibilities, and art of making impossible possible is the politics.
That's true. And people would look at, you know, politics as, you know, especially people moving from party to party, as if it's opportunism. But really, I mean, one shouldn't use the word opportunism in a derogatory way in terms of politics, because it's actually what you're describing is the art of the possible. You're trying to make things work for yourself, for your party, for the I mean, if you're working for the nation, you need to be in power in a sense, right?
This is happening across the board. I mean, Congress is not untouched by this. Similarly, BJP is also not untouched by this. People are joining BJP, and people are crossing over from one party to another party. They are coming to Congress also and joining some other parties also.
So where do you see? I mean, see now the election, the issues of this election. Are they being framed, you know, on social media, or are they being framed, do you think, on the ground? where the people, are they being discussed at the rally level or at the booth level? What do you think?
Right now, Mark, we have seen rallies by Congress President Rahul Gandhi, who has crisscrossed Northeast and other parts, and Prime Minister Modi.
Right.
These two are the main, protagonists in the two sides of political arenas. And other leaders have, we have seen Amit Shah giving a couple of interviews, and Nitin Gadkari has given a couple of interviews. So
Sure.
the issues, as you were saying, of before February 14 Pulwama terrorist strike, national security must have been on the fringe,
Right.
and BJP's stand, tough stand on
Right.
countering terror in with the bold steps. And
Right.
after February 14 and the air strike in
Sure.
Balakot, this has again come to the center stage.
So can I read into that you're saying that the ruling party, the ruling coalition, will be controlling the narrative in a sense, because they are setting the narrative. They are also the stronger coalition because they've got their act together. Now they've released their names, they've sorted out most of their issues. There really doesn't seem to be anything that that is grieving anybody in the party, at least people publicly. While the other side is really not getting first of all its coalition together, and then the issues too are a bit haphazard.
That's right. If you look at the biggest state, Uttar Pradesh, where Priyanka Gandhi has taken a boat yatra through Ganga.
Right.
This is the only credible campaign which Congress party has undertaken ever since Priyanka Gandhi was drafted into being made General Secretary in charge of Eastern UP.
Okay.
Otherwise, we don't see, it seems to me that Congress is not preparing for 2019 in UP. Congress is preparing for 2022 when UP will see assembly elections.
Okay.
And they also don't have that kind of, tight and very cohesive organization on the ground.
Right.
That is one big drawback for Congress.
Right.
Whereas BJP's condition was on the same lines in 2014 when Amit Shah took the reins of party in 2013, and he put everything in place in UP, and that was the result of hard work put in by the party.
You see, this is a fair analysis, but isn't it a gamble that could backfire? Because you see, if these parties, if the arithmetic didn't work, half of them are fighting an existential crisis, and then if they did not get together, they would probably not exist in the next election, or they may not. They'd be brought down to such a size that they wouldn't command enough authority to try and grow from there. It's going to be a tough uphill task. We've seen that with many of the national parties in the past who now are on the fringes.
Yeah, that's true. And UP and Bihar, you will find some kind of caste equations also coming into play. That is what SP and BSP are hoping to bank upon. And there is a certain dedicated vote bank of BSP,
right.
which the transfer of votes is not easy from BSP to other parties. But since Mayawati has declared that she is going to campaign even for Mulayam Singh Yadav, so we will see an interesting battle in Lok Sabha elections as far as Uttar Pradesh is concerned, where SP and BSP, the two arch rivals, have come together. That is some kind of challenge which I think BJP is.
So what do you think are the key takeaways from the 184 candidates list that the BJP has announced? Of course, the 17 candidates who are going to be contesting in Bihar, their names have not been announced as yet, but they will be announced along with the allies.
Yeah, and that is, I think, a fair proposition that you take allies into confidence. But
absolutely.
Looking at 184, because not been able to look through all the 184 candidates, but you have Karnataka, you have Assam also there, Arunachal also, and Sikkim is also there. So the BJP is also concentrating on 25 seats of Northeast, where they are fielding some credible names.
Right.
So to me it seems to be a good mixture of some new faces and coming in, and the old guard is also taking a concrete shape in form of trusted ministers who have performed well. And upon these names,
rewarding performance is one of the important things.
BJP can bank upon. That is also a very crucial factor, because all of a sudden you can't have, as we have seen reports that in Chhattisgarh all MPs are going to be changed. New faces will come in Chhattisgarh.
Okay.
So because BJP faced a very severe drubbing at the hands of Congress and lost assembly elections to Congress. So some corrective measures I think will be in place. So that is the indication from this.
So you say that the basic message to BJP workers is the party rewards performance and also the party gives space to allies. Important space because that's how a coalition works. Is that the kind of message that we are getting from?
Yeah, naturally, because as I said, in alliance, and BJP has been very keen to seal all its pre-poll alliances. The kind of phenomena which we are not seeing in Mahagathbandhan. Congress is letting these opportunities slip by. So this is also very crucial that you have pre-poll alliances, because then you present a united and a very cohesive pre-poll unit, one platform.
Okay.
And so you can't say that post-poll that this is an opportunistic alliance of post-poll put together by availability of opportunities and looking at the power at the center. So pre-poll alliances are crucial, and this is where I think BJP is one step ahead of its rivals.
If we also look at, you did mention that the 25 seats in the Northeast are also quite important because not only in the numbers game, but because the Northeast has, had this feeling of alienation for a long time. They've not been looking at the at playing a significant role in the mainstream of politics, and I think that under the current government, they have got that opportunity. They have, and there is, because also the Prime Minister had insisted that every single minister in his government visits the Northeast regularly. There has been, that kind of at least a connection that is constantly being, revived and sustained. So how do you look at, the BJP's outlook for the Northeast?
The BJP, if you see in almost all northeastern states, for the first time BJP has formed a government in Tripura. In Assam, it has its own government. In Manipur, BJP is there. So in almost all northeastern states, BJP has got a foothold. And this is also a time when BJP realizes that 42 seats in West Bengal, adjoining West Bengal, and 25 seats in all the northeastern states are where the BJP can reap a rich harvest. And it may not be so in the adjoining West Bengal, where Mamata Banerjee is a very formidable opponent. But in Northeast, yes, apart from this issue, sensitive issue of NRC, citizenship, of which Prime Minister has been and the BJP President have been making clarifications, trying to convince people that it is not against them. That is the only sensitive issue which is, I think, going to where BJP will have to negotiate it with rather the political acumen and maturity. Otherwise, this is a bold attempt by BJP to see how it can navigate through Northeast and try and reap a good number of seats from states where it has.
So we haven't really spoken too much about the fact that Amit Shah is contesting from Gandhinagar. Now, what does this actually? How do you see this in the political light? What kind of political message is coming out from this? First, Amit Shah ji, as the president of the party, became a Rajya Sabha member. Now he is likely to become a Lok Sabha member too.
See, as you pointed out, Mr. Amit Shah is already a Rajya Sabha member. So the message is that electoral politics and jumping into electoral hotbed of the Lok Sabha elections is where a political leader's acumen and his abilities are tested. We have seen Mr. Jaitley, such a fine person and a fine administrator, and a reputed lawyer who could not win from Amritsar. He had to face defeat in Amritsar. So similarly on Congress side, we have seen Mr. Pranab Mukherjee also, being such a fine administrator, such a good minister who rose to be the president. But in electoral politics, his career is not much to speak about. So this is testing, the waters from the trusted Gandhinagar seat where which Amit Shah knows the entire Gujarat and particularly Gandhinagar, because he has been looking after the constituency when Mr. Advani was there representing it. So this is also a message that party.
It also shows that the party is leading from the front. I mean, all the tall leaders of the party are actually contesting the election.
As far as Amit Shah's candidature is concerned, I think it's a very, very bold and strong message that Mr. Amit Shah will lead from Gujarat, and this is time for a 91-year-old patriarch, Mr. Advani, to bid goodbye, to bid adieu to the hurly-burly of Lok Sabha elections.
Okay, we leave it there. Thank you very much, Mr. Vinay Kumar, for helping us understand a little bit about the first list of the BJP for the upcoming Lok Sabha elections and putting that into context for us. Thanks very much for joining us on Newsnight. Moving on then, the BJP also announced 6 more candidates for the 60-member Arunachal Pradesh Assembly, which goes to the polls simultaneously with the first phase of Lok Sabha elections. That's April 11. The party had earlier announced 54 candidates for the State Assembly. Among the names declared today, the Assembly Speaker T.N. Tongdok will be contesting from the Kalaktang seat, while the Information and Public Relations Minister Bamang Felix will be contesting from Nyapin Assembly constituency of Kurung Kume district. So the senior leader Kipa Babu has been made a candidate also this is from the Itanagar seat. And one of the key highlights of today's list is the name of senior leader and Minister Nabam Ribia, who hasn't been given a ticket. The BJP also released its first list of candidates for the ensuing assembly elections in Sikkim. The party released a list of 12 candidates for 32-member Sikkim Assembly, which goes to the polls on April 11 simultaneously with the Lok Sabha election. Well, the Union Finance Minister Arun Jaitley in a blog today has said that 3 fake campaigns of compulsive contrarians, they've been busted in a single day. He refers to the campaigns of alleged Hindu terror, Godhra train fire of 2002 and Nirav Modi. And Arun Jaitley concludes that ultimately truth has prevailed.
Union Finance Minister Arun Jaitley on Thursday slammed UPA for vicious theory of Hindu terror, which was coined during the UPA government. In a blog, Jaitley said that compulsive contrarians adopted it, and Thursday's verdict by the court has judicially put the last nail in the coffin of the so-called Hindu terror theory. It was a conspiracy to give a bad name to the otherwise liberal majority community in India. Terror is alien to the Hindu culture. On Godhra train fire case, Jaitley said the burning of Sabarmati Express at Godhra in 2002 was an attempt to instigate social and communal tension in the state. The accused in the case were identified, accused were arrested at different points of time, charge-sheeted. Many of the accused were convicted earlier, and an accused arrested subsequently has been convicted by the trial court on Thursday. On the arrest of Nirav Modi, Finance Minister wrote that Nirav Modi's arrest, the compulsive contrarians' fakery, has again been exposed. This also busts the fake campaign that the present government had anything to do with him. The country is reassured again that whoever cheats India and its institutions cannot get away. There is an inherent danger in relying only on fake issues. They crack up and collapse as 3 of them did on Thursday. I hope the manufacturers of fake campaign learns some lesson. They don't seem to be considering their brazen attitude. Newsnight Desk, DD India.